Let me just get on the road. Got a little treat. I did not bring the audio with Andrew and the attorney, so we're not going to be going over that like I said last time. And before we go over this audio, and this is an audio where they tell us at the end of the audio, they're going to release Mr. Tickle Man, Andrew Tickle, who, last time got arrested just, they sent him to a psych evaluation just for asking, hey, who did I harm? What did I do wrong? I don't understand you guys. And so I kind of like to talk about a few things before we really get started on this, and that is, yesterday I kind of blew up on somebody. Probably didn't handle myself the best, but I just wish for everybody to think about this from my position. I've poured my life, my soul, my heart in this. And when I was having problems and talking about no more videos, people were seriously telling me to go home and get a job. And basically the way I take that as, what I'm doing has no value, you guys. And I know that that's not true, because I got as much faith in y'all as y'all have in me. But the thing is that the enemy is in between you and I, okay? And I know this for a fact. Like, I always had my suspicions, but last week, a man that I don't have his number in my cell phone, okay? The only way he communicates with me one-on-one is on Telegram. Anyways, last Wednesday, he put in a donation because he heard the call, he liked the knowledge that was given, so he sent a donation of $200. And then he told me later about it and asked for me to make sure to verify it, to check it. I checked it. Couldn't verify. I had Oracle checking it. This man's name is Monarch, or he goes by Monarch, on the calls and that stuff. And anyways, so then by Saturday, now remember, he made the payment on Wednesday. And by Saturday, he sends me like his actual verification receipt email, says, hey, check it against this information. Checked it against that information. Oracle checked it against that information. Sunday afternoon, Oracle checked it. Sunday evening after the call, I was talking to Oracle, and I was like, did you check it this afternoon? Yeah, it wasn't there. All right, let me get Monarch on the phone right now. So this is the first time Monarch has ever called my cell phone personally. And, a few minutes after that, when Oracle can actually check the account again, voila, the payment's there. 5 days later. Anyways, I was going to make a video about that at some point in time, but I don't have any time right now. So, but the enemy is between you and I, okay? So it's very likely that the people who are sending things, the people who are trying to help, I might not be getting them at all. And so I'm sitting here feeling like I'm getting no help, being broke, pouring my heart into all of this. Sometimes it gets pretty stressful, okay? Not gonna lie. And then sometimes things get better, like, when JC Jr. calls up and starts asking, like, the Supreme Court, the county sheriff, the county court office, and that makes me feel better. And they record it, and they post it up on Telegram. Other people can see it. Hilarious conversation with the sheriff, by the way, talking about, Big Macs and Whoppers and Burger Kings and McDonald's and judges' orders. That is hilarious. Everybody should go on to Telegram just to check that out. But honestly, from my point of view, I wish to see more of that. It would know that I'm not out here alone. And I'm not out here on the battlefield alone. Look, their entire team is playing. The other side's entire team is on the field. Okay? And for my team, it feels like there's just a couple of us who are actually out on the field throwing balls around. And I'm telling you right now, if you're rooting for our team and you're not willing to come out on the field with us, that is just more probability that our team's going to lose. Okay? Like, straight up. If you're rooting for us, but you're staying on the sidelines until you see who wins, then my mind's kind of like you're not rooting for us. Anyways, without further ado, let's hear me and Jody Everett, who's a magistrate, or was a magistrate in Polk County. Let's hear us talk about law. Okay, the state will recognize that. How is it that I don't recognize anything of the state?
Are you the friend of the person who filed the paper saying that he
doesn't understand the charges? He never said he didn't agree to be under the laws of the state. He says he doesn't understand the charges.
Oh, okay.
See, he might comprehend that some people would get together and say, hey, we should lock people up for doing nothing wrong, but he doesn't understand why anybody would wish to lock him up when he hasn't done any harm, injury, or wrong to anybody, and if he has, he just wishes to make it right immediately.
I get that argument. It's just that, let me explain that to you, which my opinion is how you're not going to get any help from anybody who works for this state, because we have all sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of the state of North Carolina. So, and the Constitution and laws include laws against selling marijuana.
Okay.
Which I understand the argument.
Okay, this is the first part. So, I'm really glad that you can understand our argument, Ms. Everett, because I don't understand yours. Like, my argument is, why would you lock somebody up if they didn't do anything wrong? You can understand that. Great. Then why do you lock people up over doing nothing wrong? Okay? And then for all of you people talking about get their oath of office, make sure that their oaths are sworn, you just heard her. Okay? Even if she didn't swear an oath, she just swore that they all swore an oath. That was her oath on the record. As far as I'm concerned, she said we all swore an oath. Great. I'm glad that we got that out of the way. Now let's talk about that real quick. And we're going to talk about some constitutional law, because you know what? I bet I know constitutional law better than you do. I bet I know your constitutional law better than you do. Because I'm serious about this. This isn't something I do for money. It's something I do for principle. Okay? There's a difference.
There not be any harm, but that doesn't matter because that's a law.
Okay, so you swore an oath to uphold the laws of the United States, like the United States Constitution. Correct. In Article 1, Section 10, it says that no state can make law to impair the right or the obligations of private contracts. That man has the right to privately contract with his fellow man. So what do you
But it can't be a one-sided contract.
How is it a one-sided contract?
Well, the contract that you're talking about selling marijuana,
How is that a one-sided contract?
because he's offering to sell it and the person didn't want to buy it. So
What if somebody called him up? I mean, I don't know anybody who just walks around with marijuana and says, hey, you gotta buy this marijuana. Typically,
I don't know.
people... Yeah, I don't know anybody who walks around and says you gotta buy this marijuana. And believe me, Ms. Everett, I probably have a lot more experience with this than you. But let me also get y'all thinking about something else, okay? He's being charged with intent to distribute. That's kind of like a future crime. He hasn't actually distributed anything yet. And again, they got so brazen as to actually get the cop up on the stand and say that after he was pulled over, Mr. T, this is gangster, Mr. T was just like, hey, you want to buy some weed from me? To a plainclothes, like full clothed officer in uniform. Ha! Okay, and let me throw something else in here about this case. This happened up on his own private land. These were wildlife officers who were up there looking for poachers. They had no jurisdiction to be up there. That's an unlawful search and seizure. They didn't have any permission to be up on that land, and you can't just walk around on some land and then use the plain view doctrine, and they're trying to do that. Let me tell you something, Americans. If you let them get away with it, then they're going to know you're going to let them get away with it. And when we do get to the attorney who they forced upon him, the attorney will try and convince him that it's a PVA, it's a public vehicular area. No, it's not. It's a private road. I have a picture of the road sign saying that's a private road. It's not a PVA, okay? So, but it really doesn't matter because you're charging him with something, you don't know if he intended to do it, okay? He hasn't actually committed any crime yet. And even if he did it, who did he harm? I mean, it's not like Philip Kemp, where his ex goes in there and she testifies, oh yes, if we didn't have the children back, if we didn't go and get the children back with the cops, I don't think I would have had them back by Friday. And then she turns around and testifies, yes, I was afraid that he was going to commit suicide with the children in front of him. Well, let me tell you something, little Miss X Kemp, okay? If he committed suicide in front of them, I'm pretty sure you would have seen your children by Friday. Like, both of those cannot happen at the same time. And regardless, you're still not a fortune teller. You still can't tell the future. Okay? That's why these laws are ridiculous. This is why I'm trying to teach the American people the difference between a good and a bad law. Okay? And this is myself, this is me expressing my law. And by the end of this, you, Americans, get to choose, okay? Is my law better than their law, or is their law better than my law? And you're going to choose by your actions. You're not choosing by your words. Sell marijuana, have other people who call them and say, hey, I wish to buy a product from you.
Is that what happened in this case?
I have no clue what happened in this case.
The person that did not buy it was a wildlife officer, so...
Yeah, I got no clue what happened in this case. I wasn't there. I don't have any first-hand knowledge of the facts. I can't tell you anything, okay? But even if I could, do you really think I'm going to tell you that I was doing something that could get me in trouble? No, I'm just not going to tell you. I'm just going to leave that part out of it. Because you want to hurt me for no reason. I don't understand. He didn't offer to sell it to the wildlife officer.
It doesn't matter. The point is no deputy, no...
See, even by the end, she's like, it doesn't matter. See, she's trying to logic out why this isn't a contract, and they can get the middle of it and try and obtain jurisdiction. And in the end of that, she's like, well, it doesn't matter anyways. You know, then why are you arguing it? Okay, then why are you trying to get around my little argument if it doesn't matter? It does matter. It matters why we do things. It matters what the government can and cannot get in the middle of. Believe me, it matters. It's very, very important because when the people allow the government to get in the middle of every single little contract, the government becomes incredibly tyrannical. Believe me, it matters.
Clerk is going to come over there and preside over a court that is not created by the state. It's created by you, so you can create your own officers for it. Does that make sense?
So
If you're creating this court and this court date, so you can create your own judge and your own magistrate and anything else that you want to do.
And then y'all will file it, sign it.
If there is a case file if there's a case file and you want to file something, it will be stamped and put in the file. Is there a case file?
Let me just tell you something real quick. She just told you. You guys can create a court. You can do whatever you wish. Okay, great. We've already created a court. You know this. All we're requiring of you is for your court to come over and witness our court so you can sign as a witness for the state. In fact, at this point, you're not much more than a notary. Okay? You're just witnessing our court for the state. We're creating our own court. You're coming over. You're witnessing it. We're creating our own record. And you're just there because you're an officer of the state of North Carolina. So when we take our documents for North Carolina to go and execute, because we've created them in law, you're the one who gives that authority. Saying, yep, I witnessed what they did. Yep, I saw what the answer was. Yep, I got the answer from the other side. And this is true and lawful what happened. That's the whole point. We are there.
Okay. Yeah, so if there's a case file open and you want to file, then the clerk has to put anything in the file that you want. If it's a case file open.
Well, thanks for telling me what I already know. That it's their duty to sign an order or judgment?
No. That would be a judge.
And that's why we require a judge or a magistrate to witness the proceedings.
But the judge only has jurisdiction over actual court, not ones that are just created by people.
Well, who created government?
God created.
God created government?
I'm not.
All right. Here you go. This should be a call to arms for all of you Christians. God created government. God did not create you. God created them to rule you. Okay? That's literally what she just said. And if you're okay with that, then I guess you're going to stand by and do nothing. Okay? Because let me tell you how it went. It went, God created man. Man created government. Okay? God created man in his image, and man created government in his own image for his own selfish reasons. And what she's trying to tell you is that God created government because she believes government is God, and she is your God, and you better obey her, and you can't do anything without getting her permission. That's basically what she's saying. She's saying, I don't have jurisdiction. You're right, you don't have jurisdiction. Linda has jurisdiction because she's the woman who could die on the side of a mountain if you guys don't let her life support go. That is the jurisdiction. I'm telling you.
Have this discussion. What I'm telling you is I'm the magistrate. I'm not coming over there, and nobody else who's sworn an oath to uphold the laws of the state or the country are going to come over there.
Nobody's going to come do their job.
Welcome to use the space. But you can't use any of the people except for when there's actual court in session that's created by this state. The courts of this state were created by North Carolina, by the government.
Yeah, the courts of your state.
Of North Carolina.
Talking about our courts.
Of Justice of North Carolina were created by North Carolina legislatively. I'm sure there's somewhere in the statutes where it says, unless it's expressly prohibited, the common law remains in full force. And I'm sure there's nowhere in the statutes, and if you can show me, you're a magistrate judge, so if you could show me where in the statutes it says that these are the only courts that are allowed to be created or held within the state of North Carolina, I would like to see it.
That's not the way it works.
All right. Here's how it works. Okay. I believe in North Carolina, it's chapter 4 of the North Carolina compiled statutes. Now, I'm not 100% on that because I haven't looked at it in a long time. But somewhere in every state, and I can just tell you this right off the top of my head because it's fundamentally principal to the jurisprudence of American law. Okay, in every single state, there is somewhere where it says that the common law is in full force, except where it has been expressly altered or abolished. Okay? What we're doing is common law. Okay? And I'm not sitting here saying that her states don't have, or her state courts don't have authority. What I'm saying is that they don't have as much authority as the courts that created them, and that's our courts. And we have the right to move our courts through their venues. That's exactly what we're talking about. And if we didn't have this right, then why did you file the paperwork in the first place? Why do you keep on trying to stop us from exercising this right? Why do you keep on trying to push it back and come up with excuses? Why don't you just sit there and say, you don't have the right? Now, I don't have to sit here and explain myself over and over and over to you, Miss Everett, because it's a right. If it weren't a right, then I'd have to explain it. If I had to explain it, then it wouldn't be right. But if it wasn't, then you guys wouldn't be acting the way that you're acting. Because you know what's going on, and I know what's going on, and you know you're being recorded, and you know that you wish to enslave all of these people out here, and you know that I wish to free them. So you're trying to come up with some pretty good propaganda, but you're not going to win this argument with me, and I'll tell you why. Because I can eat you for lunch talking about law. I can eat your boss for lunch talking about law. I can eat your boss's bosses for lunch talking about law, all the way up. In fact, I've thought about it for a long time. I don't know if there's anybody on this planet that I could really argue a different position from mine in law. Even up to and including chief justices of the country. And I don't know who, out of all the chief justices around the world, I don't know who could really go toe-to-toe with me. But I could think of one man that I actually have enough respect for that, I would say he's pretty much on the same level. And that is the Chief Justice of South Africa. Okay? This man went on national TV and he was like, down with the devil vaccine. I pray that God burns the devil vaccine and never allows it to see the light of day. And when the media came back after him about this, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I damn the devil vaccine. If your vaccine ain't the devil vaccine, you got nothing to worry about, do you? You ain't got no problems. And when he was talking about that, he was like, I don't care if somebody shoots me. I don't care how many judicial complaints you guys write. You want to know why? You guess who gets to answer those judicial complaints? I'm the Chief Justice of the country, okay? That's lifetime tenure. The only way to remove me is to freaking kill me. And I'm okay with that. Because I'll die for my beliefs. I got a lot of respect for that man. A lot of respect. That's law. That's how you move in law.
The person who wants something to happen in a case has to be the one to show that authority. So if you want the court to be accredited, then it's for you to show. It's not for the judge to come up with something that should approve to you.
Well, I've already shown the authority. There's a cause of harm. There's a cause of harm, injury, and loss.
And if that's true, you definitely have the right to access the courts, but it has to be on the actual court.
Okay, did you just hear that? She's like, because I'm like, here's the authority. You said you swore an oath to uphold all these laws. I'm telling you the laws that you are breaking. And if I'm wrong, because I'm a high school dropout, okay, you went to college, you got a Juris Doctorate, you're a judicial officer of North Carolina. So if I'm wrong, you can just show me where I'm wrong, and I will stand corrected. And what does she say? She says, no, it's not up to us to show you that authority. It's up to you to show us your authority. I just told you my authority, okay? We have a woman out here who has been harmed, injured, and suffers loss, okay? And she says, yep, then that has the right to open up a court. Yep, that has the right to open up a court of law. Then why aren't you upholding that right? See, I've shown my authority. You're saying the person who wishes to do something or move something, they're the one who has to show that authority. So why aren't you showing that authority? You see the doublespeak here? It's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. All right, why don't you do it? Nope, I don't have to do it. I don't have to play by these same rules that I'm telling you you have to play by. Because see, it doesn't matter what rules I'm playing by. I'm playing by their rules. I'm playing by the rules of common law. I'm playing by the rules of natural law. See, I'm acting 100% lawfully, which is why you can understand what I'm talking about. You can't understand what she's talking about because she's not acting lawfully. It's really just that simple. And all of them are going to quit acting lawfully in any kind of way if you guys don't help me do something about this.
It has to be filed and heard in front of a district court judge, superior court judge, or magistrate, depending on what.
So what is the common man or woman to do to receive justice if they can't hire an attorney? If they don't have the money to pay for an attorney?
You've already filed it. You just don't want to go to court on the day that the court's held.
Well, I mean, we paid a notice for, the motion for the hearing, and they said that it was 10 a.m. today.
Who said that?
Kim, here
Kim?
on
Kim, your
Tuesday.
attorney?
No, Kim is the lady who sits in that seat,
She said
who is not here today.
she scheduled you for at 10 a.m.
Well, I had to schedule it.
I
I had to
scheduled
run
it.
over there and run back here and
Okay.
run back over
So
there.
she didn't schedule, you scheduled it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine.
Let me explain something. Yeah, I scheduled it. I created it. I created the document. That's up to me. It's my court. Just like what you're talking about. When you create court, you create the schedule. You create the time. You create the documents. See, I'm just doing the same thing. And honestly, all I got to do is have a North Carolina judicial officer witness. It doesn't matter who it is. It really doesn't. Because you're not exercising any authority. We are. We're the people. We got the authority. We're exercising it. You know what we're doing. So just open up the courts so we can get to law so that I can get done. Nope. Nope. Why aren't you doing that? Oh, because you created it. We're not going to respect your authority. Then why should I respect your authority? You know, if I created it and you're not going to respect my authority and you're going to tell me that I got to create it, okay, and then you don't even respect the stuff that you create and the stuff you say you're going to do, why would I respect your authority at all? And that's the question I have for you Americans. Why do y'all respect their authority at all? It's obviously not honorable. It obviously doesn't matter what they tell you, what they say in a contract. They don't care. They don't care about you. I do.
Schedule a meeting, have your meeting, and you can call it court if you want to. It's not a court of this jurisdiction, it's not a court of North Carolina. It could be, your own court, that's fine. It's not.
Did you just hear what she said? You can create a court, but it's not a court of this jurisdiction, North Carolina. Great, I'm glad you agree with me because I'm saying the same thing. Yes, I understand that the court I create is not your court. Okay? So just come over and witness court for the state of North Carolina. I understand that North Carolina doesn't have jurisdiction. That's kind of the whole reason I created it this way. Because if North Carolina had jurisdiction, I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't do anything about one of their officers throwing Mr. T in jail and telling him to go get a psychological evaluation. If they had jurisdiction, I'm sure that they wouldn't see that as a wrong. They'd be perfectly okay with that. And I didn't wish for that kind of outcome, which is why I went through the trouble of learning how to do this, and then I did it. And everything she's telling you is telling you that I did it. They just don't wish to uphold it.
Not going to hold any sway with sworn officers or judicial officials or clerks in North Carolina. You go in front of a district court judge, a superior court judge, or a magistrate judge in the proper court setting on the proper day and time. Whatever comes out of that will be acknowledged and upheld as, a lawful order. Whatever you decide over there is a private citizen matter. You have to follow the rules.
Okay. You have to follow the rules. Yes, I'm following the rules. When are you going to start following the rules? Whatever y'all decide over there is a private matter. Great. I'm glad you agree with me. See, they're not necessarily lying. They're right. Yes, whatever we decide over there is a private matter. Okay? We just require that a judicial officer from the state of North Carolina comes and witnesses what we decide. Comes and witnesses our private matter so that the state of North Carolina can verify that that private matter is in existence and is able to be executed. That's it. Really not that big of a problem. And look, we had enough people there to open up our own court. We had enough people there to pull a jury. Okay? So that if the wrongdoer wished for a jury trial, okay, we can do a jury trial. Now, how would that go? Well, you see, we're the people, you're the government, so it's kind of like two different gangs, all right? But instead of like battling out on the street, see, we're in a civil setting where we talk about it and work it out, like civilized people. So here's my gang. I know my gang knows law and your gang knows law, so what about we pick 6 from each, okay? That'll be the jury. We can have 6 of your people who know law and 6 of our people who know law, and that will be the jury. What do you think about that? Because that's how it's supposed to work out. Like, very literally. That's how a common law court works.
It's like school. You don't just show up whenever you want to. You have to go whenever time school starts.
I don't know. I just showed up whenever I wanted to, and I seem to be a lot smarter than you, Miss Everett.
Just like over there, you can show up whenever you want to, but if it's not court, your court's not in session, you're not going to get a valid court record.
Court's in session 24/7, 365.
So what's your name? Your name is Jody?
Magistrate Efforts.
No, you're Jody Everett.
Jody
You're not
Everett.
magistrate because you're not acting like a magistrate. You're denying your duties and obligations.
Nice to meet you as well.
That would be how it would be in court. But it has to be active.
So could I just get you to put something in writing saying that you'll refuse to hear this matter today? You won't put something in writing?
You can write it yourself.
If I write it up, will you initial it?
Can I just get you to put something in writing saying you're going to refuse to do your duties and obligations? No. You see how honorable these people are? Look, all I'm asking you to do is your job. It's not that hard, and you should know how to do it. Why are you trying to convince me that it's not your job? And if it's not your job and I don't have this right, then what's the problem with signing something or initialing something saying that you're not gonna do what's not your job? Okay, because I wouldn't have a problem with that. If something wasn't my job and you asked me to do it and I told you no, and then you were like, hey, I'm gonna create this document saying that you're gonna not do your job because it's not your job, I would say, great, here you go, no problem. If you have any issues with it, come and sue me. In fact, that's kind of one of my favorite ways to answer people when they have conflicts with me. And I just don't care. I'm like, yeah, I did it. If you have a problem, come sue me. Ha! Have fun. Because if you come and sue me, I'm going to look at that as a payday. Because I know what I'm doing. And she's still like, nope. Not going to do that. So what are you going to do? I'm just going to sit here and tell you no and try and act confusing and try and give double speak so that the people who are listening to this recording later won't know that I'm really screwing everybody over and taking away their rights and the government's coming and stealing all of your God-given rights. But they're not going to know because they're too brainwashed and they don't care about each other enough to do anything about it. I mean, that's honestly and seriously what these people are thinking. And you know, because it's the way they're acting. You can see it through their actions. Anyways, I'm going to have to, I'm going to stop at the next exit and switch out some battery stuff. So, I got to put a new battery in my camera to carry the rest of this conversation all the way back to the Hizzy, back to South Cackalack. And very honestly, you can see they're telling you, yes, I was creating a court. They even recognize it. And in fact, let's just listen to a little bit more.
You won't. You're not going to fulfill your duty to the public.
It's not my duty to initial things out of the blue.
No, it should do the whole court.
It's not out of the blue. It's, you know, a woman is here to open her court, and you're saying that's not lawful.
Filed as a magistrate court, filed or district court. So it's not in my jurisdiction. It has to be a district court judge that would do that.
And when will the district court judge be here?
There was one here all day yesterday. I don't know what the next one is. Probably.
Okay, this should be another clue, you people, that they are straight up lying. Just now, she figured out, hey, which is this filed in? You see, they filed it there. We didn't file it there. We never told them to file it there. They filed it there because they were trying to file it to assume jurisdiction. Okay? We knew what we were talking about. I don't care. They even made us pay like a filing fee and a motion just to get the court opened up. I didn't have a problem doing it because as soon as court's opened up, I will correct that. I will correct the record. For sure. And they know because they wouldn't let me do that. But honestly, it's like, you know this. You know it's set up. You were sitting here waiting for me. Why didn't you bring this up in the argument like 10 minutes ago? Why didn't you just straight up, okay, I can't come and watch this or move this or look over this proceeding because I don't have jurisdiction because I'm not a district court judicial officer. Why wasn't that your first argument? You see, they think you're stupid. I think you're beautiful and intelligent. That's why I'm putting this out there. It's up to you. You're the jury on this one. You're the jurist. I gotta change the battery. I'll be right back. Alright. Thank you for coming back. Let's get this started again.
Next Monday or Wednesday.
Notice of hearing has to be filed 10 days before.
But if he just wants to get a judge initials, there'll probably be one next. I know there'll be one next Wednesday. I don't know if
We have a domestic court Monday, and anything can happen on December 4th, the next two civil courts we have.
So the next time a district court judge will be here. It doesn't mean you have your day in court. Because, like you said, you have to notice it in. It has to be put on the docket. But if you want to try to get a signature from a district court judge, it'll be Monday.
I've already paid $20 for the notice of hearing. So can I get something from the court's office saying when that hearing will be? A specific time?
Okay, let me explain something here. We file the common law action. They don't hear it that day. We freaking go back the next day. Y'all ready to hear it? Nope. Okay. Why aren't you ready to hear it? Because, well, we don't have a facility set up for you to use. Okay. I'll set that up. Well, we confirm with them. Okay, come back tomorrow. Here we go. We're ready to go. We get back the next day. Nope. We don't know. We don't have it on this. Really? I just set it up. We were all in agreement. That's why they didn't have Kim there. Because they didn't wish for her to verify. Yep, he was here yesterday. Yep, I witnessed this. Because that's all they're supposed to do. That's why they keep on switching up the judicial officers for Mr. T. Is because once he starts saying some of these things, they gotta find out by the next time that they deal with them or try and deal with them. That's why all of this stuff is going on. And see, every single time we do that, it's like, nope, here's 3 more hoops to jump through. Look, all we require is venue. We have the rest of the court set up. We just give us a place where you can come and witness what we do. We don't even care if it's over there in the corner. Okay? Like, an actual courtroom would be preferable. Like, it'd be more comfortable for everybody. We would all enjoy it more. But if you're going to be like this, we can do it right over there in the corner. In fact, we could do it right here if you wish. And in a way, we kind of are. Because there is more court going on than just Linda's court to get her life support back. Right now, there is court going on. And that court is the court of me and you. Okay? And let me tell you something. I'm still prosecuting the same party I was prosecuting when this action was happening. And they're still persecuting. In fact, they are persecuting you more now than they were then. Courts are way more lawless now than they were then. And they're just going to keep getting more and more lawless if you don't do something about it. If you don't help me do something about it. And then you're not going to have anything.
Administrative stuff.
They're saying, because I have those receipts saying that I paid, for the notice of hearing, and I just wish for something from the clerk's office saying, giving me an exact time and date for the hearing, so that Linda Honeycutt can be heard in an open court.
So you want to do this in the county, for Polk County, or you're talking about your court?
I require this for the filing that you have under, 17 CBD.
That's what you file. Now we're required by the state that if, somebody comes in and wants to file something, we're not attorneys or, anything, so we, take a filing.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I'm not understanding, are you wanting this a time and a date to be heard in front of our court, or are you talking about for your sake? I'm not understanding.
It's not for I. It's not for me. It's not for myself.
Where you want it in our district court?
However you wish to write it out, put it down on paper, and just give me a time and a date.
Well, the filing is for some other, that was requesting some other, right.
If she writes anything, that's creating a document or file.
Right.
Okay, then give me a time and a date where I can create a document and have you sign it so that you can acknowledge it.
You can create a document anytime you want.
I created a document for 10 a.m.
And you filed it.
Right.
The clerk has to accept it if you file it.
Do you see this little freaking circle jerk going on here? You gotta create the document. I created a document. And you filed it. Yes, great. We're all in agreement. Yes, I'm telling you to create the document so that there's no argument on the fact that the document's created. But they aren't arguing the fact that the document's created. They're just arguing the fact that they're not going to do anything about it. And they're not going to do anything about it unless you make them do something about it. Believe me, this has been going on way too long. Okay? But you see this circle going on here? And it's very obvious, even the clerks know at this point what we're doing because it looked way too strange and way too familiar. So somebody had to tell them something, but they keep on saying, in your court or our civil district court? Really? Do we have to keep going over this? Like, you know the answer to this question so well that the question's stupid. I'm not even going to answer it. Okay? That's where we're sitting at right now. Like, this is retarded. Hopefully somebody's about to walk in who makes a little bit more sense.
Yes, definitely. It's not just the keeper of all
Records, right.
The record's right, yeah. I feel like I'm talking to 2-year-olds.
Court doesn't create like
Losing my mind.
The chief district court judge
Yeah,
schedules all of them.
Linda's the one who's actually creating.
Okay, well,
Here's another
It's the
result.
right of man to create his own court,
But-
right?
well, she said that God created government.
God didn't create government.
Yeah,
I went to seminary. I can
thought
assure
you
you God did not
understood
create
that I was
government.
being silly
What I'm
about
saying
that.
is, they,
God created
And then
man,
after that, I
created
said
God.
North Carolina created our courts.
There you go. That's the God. That's the God.
That's
Who
your
created
God.
North Carolina?
Man.
But it depends on what you think.
No.
You're talking about the geography or you're talking about the land or the.
She really should just stop, okay? Who created? She starts trying to argue because she already said something retarded. No, just admit that you're retarded, Miss Everett. You're not gonna win this argument, okay? I went, and in fact, I know I put the audio up probably with Angela Freiner and what was going on with her, but Mr. T, Andrew Tickle, called me from jail, and he told me that they wouldn't give him pen and paper. So I go up there, and I wait for about 20 minutes. This is right around Christmas. It was like a couple days before I was leaving for Miami. And, you know, Jody comes down to deal with me, and I start talking to her about getting him a pen and paper, and she starts to argue with me, and I just give her this look like, really? You're going to sit here and argue with me when you know you're not going to win? And it's really going to irritate you. You'd rather do that than just go tell, one of the sheriffs to give him pen and paper, which you know he has the right to. You know I'm going to win this argument. Like, you would rather sit here and argue with me and look like a fool again. And she immediately changed her attitude and was like, okay, yeah, I'll get it for him. And in fact, I will even take over any document that he files. Okay? And he filed a document. And he calls me up a couple hours after he files this document, and he's like, man, you're going to be upset with me. I did it again. I signed a piece of paper that they wanted me to sign. And it was the same thing, saying that, I'm okay with being a jail servant, on good behavior, to stay out of my cell for 23 hours a day, so that he could actually kind of roam around freely a little bit. And I was like, okay, you sign the document. But it said that I wasn't under duress or anything like that. All right, were there 3 officers with guns standing around you when you signed the document? No, actually there were 6. I'm fine with that, because that's when you can sign a document. When you got officers surrounding you with guns asking you to sign a document, you can sign that document and we'll handle it later. Okay? But what's going on here, they're badly trying to usurp my jurisdiction and get me to consent to coming over to be in their court. And if you can't hear that, I don't know how else to tell you. If you can't logically put together my arguments and their arguments, I don't know what else to tell you.
Concept North Carolina, yes, that's great.
Well, North Carolina's a
Thankfully,
fiction
an
of the
adult came
imagination.
in named
It's
Shaman.
concept. It's not actual land.
This sounds like something that would be really interesting to talk about at some point. As far as your being able to get official action or signatures or orders, it has to be done through a court that's already scheduled, and it has to be done following the court rules.
Just so you guys kind of know where we're coming from, because I know the stuff, if everybody's not coming from the same angle, stuff can appear to be kind of, we're really just trying to help our fellow man. I mean, that's what we're all supposed to be doing, right?
And
And that's why I became a cop in 1990.
We provided, or they provided that
But see,
room over there.
he had a court date yesterday, so y'all could have come and spoken for him then. That would have been.
He didn't have a court date yesterday.
Yes, he did.
What court date?
No, what's it?
He had a court date on Monday, and
So
we
he
got
had court
about,
this week.
yeah, we got about 8 witnesses that sat up there and saw him tell the judge he was present. He was there to settle any matter of controversy, but he didn't understand. He doesn't understand how to represent himself.
But did you ask the judge for y'all to speak then?
Huh?
Did y'all ask to be heard then?
We asked to be heard then, and he threatened to arrest us if we didn't get out of the courthouse. I mean, we stayed around until 5 o'clock to talk to him, and he threatened to arrest us if we didn't get out of the courthouse.
Well, and I understand that's frustrating. I would be frustrated too, but that's.
The whole point.
I'm glad you understand. I'm glad you understand why we're so frustrated, because you stole our friend for asking what he did wrong. You stole Linda's life support for asking what he did wrong. I'm glad you understand why we are so frustrated, because, see, you would understand the nature of the wrong and the cause of the accusation. You just said that you understood the nature of the wrong and the cause of the accusation. So why aren't you performing your functions in law and opening up a court? Oh, because it's not your court. Because even though you understand how badly we're getting screwed, you wouldn't do anything about it if it were your court. If it were your court, you'd just keep Mr. T, Mr. Andrew Tickle locked up. Which is exactly why we don't wish to come over to your court. But you all just heard her. She said, I understand your frustration.
That's the counsel.
Exactly what's happening.
The judges, I guess.
You see what I'm saying? That's what called those guys.
But yeah, I mean, that's the time to do it.
We're all supposed to kind of
If you want to speak for him and help him, is now. And I don't know what happened for Monday, but
Just want you to know, okay?
maybe it wasn't the time for testimony to be heard. Whenever there is testimony to be heard, if y'all show up for him then, testify, that would be. He has the right to put on defense. I'm assuming it goes to trial. Yeah, I don't know if it is, but. What is
I
the
don't
time?
know as far as what took place in court.
I think I continued. I think so it got continued.
Yeah, it
Well, I
got
know it's supposed to have
continued.
Let me explain something to you right now. She just said, it's not the time for testimony to be heard. See, that's really all we require. Okay, is for court to open up and to put the testimony of the witnesses on the record. Because once the testimony is placed on the record, we're going to establish a fact, and by establishing facts, we will establish a judgment. And they know this, which is why they don't wish to open it up for us, okay? They know this. And they can't argue the facts. Once we establish the facts upon the record of the court, the only way for them to argue it is in front of a jury. And if you think that they're going to pull 12 members of the public together to decide whether it's insane to lock somebody up, take away another woman's life support because this man is asking what he did wrong, they're never going to do that, because that would expose them way too much to the public. And the way they get away with this is by keeping you guys from seeing it. You know, Matthew 13:13, therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they see not, hearing they hear not, nor do they understand.
December 13th, but right now, him being locked up in county, he's missing contracts. He's missing thousands of dollars of painting contracts that he's not going to be able to get because he can't contact people, get to a phone. He can't service Linda her medical needs. Linda could die. She's up on the side of a mountain all alone with no cell phone service. They're talking about it could take 2 weeks for him to go get mental evaluation. There's no problem with him getting a mental evaluation, but he can't be gone that long. He has a duty and an obligation. Yes, he has a duty and an obligation to his fellow man.
That's funding for her to get a bond reduction or something like that. But I don't know if it was.
But there's not going to be a bond hearing set because the bond will be reinstated immediately after his mental evaluation is done.
And that's supposed to be done today
That's-
between 1 and 2.
Between 1 and 2 today? Yeah? Of course it is.
Okay, that was the end of the recording. A woman came out and said that his mental evaluation would be done between 1 and 2. See, they ordered somebody to drive down there to give him a mental evaluation so they could throw him out. I didn't know about that order that was placed in the record where they were going to get rid of him. For the life of me, I don't really understand why they didn't just tell me that. Just to get rid of me. Like, why didn't you just say, hey, look, we're going to throw him out at this time. Because, I mean, I wouldn't have been such an issue. But you want to argue, let's argue. You want to talk law, let's talk law. Now it's up to you, the public. Who has the better law? My law or their law? Because, did you hear what I was saying? He's losing thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars in contracts. Linda might die on the side of a mountain. Like, we have a whole lot of claims that we can verify, and you people aren't allowing us access to a court to verify them and open them and move them like a court's supposed to do. Just like Philip Kemp, you're not allowing him to access a real court of law so that he can verify his stuff and move his stuff and get a judgment against his stuff. You see an issue here? Because what they are doing is they're allowing false claims, unverified claims, allegations to come in, and they're just doing whatever they want with those, no matter how much harm, injury, and loss it causes. And they're going to keep doing it. And they're going to come and do it to you if you don't help us stop it. I promise you. I promise you this is about to happen. Anyways, look, I know more than her in law. I didn't even graduate high school. I dropped out. I went and got my GED, which is why I'm a GEDI, a Jedi, you know. But this stuff is so simple that a high school dropout can go down to a library and figure it out on his own with no professors helping him. And you can tell by the way I'm arguing with them, I got more figured out than they do. And I could do that the entire time while I was high. So please help me out, because if you don't, we're all dead. And think about this, okay? I said, we got to get Philip Kemp out, you know, for Father's Day, by Father's Day. So, for the father, for the man up there. You know what Father's Day is? It's summer solstice. It's the day of the sun. The day of the sun. See, time is running out. This was all written by the stars. And time is running out. So do something. And do it quickly. I am Just Conspiracy, or we are Just Conspiracy, my bad. We are Just Conspiracy, and we just wish to conspire with other good people of this planet to leave a better world for future generations than the world we all grew up in. Right now, we just wish to conspire to get Philip Kemp out of jail and to get Delilah back to her mom. And I heard from Mimi Epstein, and it sounds like she will be getting her daughter back 50-50, so praise the heavens. One world, love, and peace.